I have never been a fan of horror genre. This includes games, movies, shows, and even horror houses. When the first Dying Light came out, I was only 15 years old. I wanted to play it so much. The game looked good, combat, atmosphere, graphics, characters, and gore systems looked solid according to its release time. There is one thing that keeps me away from it: the night and night creatures named Volatile, which are not killable. The unkillable enemies such as Volatiles and Nemesis in Resident Evil 2 are still scaring the hell out of me. After a few years, when I am almost 18 or 19 years old, we decided to play the first game with my friend group. When playing with friends, that was not that scary, except for the first night mission, which you must do on your own. And I remember those few minutes were probably the scariest minutes I have ever experienced up until then. I experienced much scarier moments in other games later, of course. Overall, the first game was good. Not a great game or masterpiece, but with solid combat and mediocre story. It was a good game to play with friends. Then we played the second game with the same group of friends, but not immediately after it came out, after a few years later. Unfortunately, we never finished the game. One of my friends in the group, whom you may recognize from other reviews on this channel, didn't like the game, citing the poor quality of the side quests as the reason. I mustered up the courage to play a bit more before the third game came out, and I realized that if he had given the game leader more time, he would have noticed that one of the best aspects of the game was its side quests. Also, the parkour system was really improved. Probably the biggest change in the second game is that it is much less scary than the first game, especially at night. Even though I liked the side quest and parkour system, I didn't like the new characters, except the new main character, Aiden, and didn't like the main story either. So I quit the game after reaching the city area in the second game so I wouldn't get overwhelmed because the third game was coming out in a week. So the release of the Beast came. We had a deal with another friend, we start playing together, and the game support co-op through all playthrough. So story begins with Kyle Crane. After the first game's DLC, following, Kyle was captured by the GRE scientist named Baron, and he did experiments on him for a long time. I haven't played Following, but at the end of it, Kyle got some kind of mutation and turned into some kind of beast. Boron uses Kyle's mutation to develop more advanced zombies and aims to use them as a weapon. After a period, Boron decided to kill Kyle in laboratory because he said he found someone else, someone more powerful than Kyle, and he is going to continue his research with him. Kyle has no use for him anymore. During Kyle's final operation, Boron's new mysterious beast managed to escape, and in that chaos, Kyle also managed to escape with the help of Baron's ex-worker, Olivia. After we managed to escape and met Olivia, she explained her idea to take down Baron. There are some creatures called chimeras, and thanks to our mutation, if we can kill chimera, we can inject its blood into our cells and become stronger. I will detail this topic in the gameplay section, but Olivia believes this could be the only way to stop Baron. Kyle has another plan: make allies. Some groups live nearby and they need help. Kyle is planning to make connections with them and be allies against Baron. So the game continues. We are doing some quests to help out people, trying to figure out Baron's intentions, and focusing on our main goal to taking revenge. In pursuit of this goal, we are meeting new communities and gaining strong allies. While also striving to become the best version of ourselves, the following may contain spoilers for those who haven't played the game yet. Those who don't want to take spoilers can skip direct to the gameplay section using the timestamps. At a certain point in the story, we met a group of people with abilities similar to ours. They were expelled by the sheriff, the leader of town people, because they were infected. But they used medicines they found in the nature to prevent their transformation and formed a community for themselves. Since the virus didn't transform them, it gave them telepathic abilities. We worked together with these people and planned to lure Baron into a trap. We captured Beast together. When we captured the Beast, we calmed him down and found out who he is. It turns out to be none other than the Aiden. As you may recall from the second game, Aiden was the subject of numerous experiments as a child, making him like Kyle, a volatile human hybrid. When Spike and he came to rescue us, they were captured by Baron. After being exposed to Baron's experiments, he gained superhuman powers even greater than Kyle's. At the final act of the game, we team with our allies and Aiden to fight against Baron. But before the final fight, Aiden returned himself to Baron to save us. Anyway, we decided to fight with Baron and siege its castle. The final act was cool. It gives more immersion to the story, and with addition to the new third-person cinematics, it really shows Baron and characters' emotions well. The game gives a hint for the next game in the final cinematic. The final 30 minutes give hype for the next game. So let's talk about gameplay. First, I wanted to talk about parkour system. The second game improved a lot from the first game. The Beast also improved in the second game in this regard. Parkour feels more immersive and realistic. City is designed well for the parkour like previous games. But I think the most unfortunate part about the map is that city part is so small compared to the rest of the map, and the most map is wilderness or some small scale zones, like Little Village or Industrial Zone. It causes you to just run through all those empty spaces unless you find a car. Yes, there are cars in the game. It's not adding too many details to gameplay, but it's a nice little touch to the travel system. It saves you from the hustle of running around aimlessly. It could be too powerful if you could use the car unlimitedly, but Techland added some limits to that with fuel. You need to find fuel to run the cars. At the beginning of the game, it causes some trouble, but after the middle part of the game, I don't recall having any issue with my car running out of gas. Somehow, I always had gas, and I already had a lot of in my inventory whenever I need it. In summary, the parkour system doesn't offer much progress, especially compared to second game. But overall, parkouring is still very enjoyable. You can feel Kyle's weight while parkouring, and unfortunately, Techland hasn't included many areas where we can parkour in this game. In most parts of the game, even if you get in a car, you have to run on foot because cars don't spawn everywhere. And this definitely disturbs the flow of the game. You are doing a mission with multiple steps, you go to an area and do the first step, and suddenly the other step takes you to the other end of the map. The lack of fast travel in the game really disturbs the flow unintentionally in the moments like this, and unfortunately I believe this is a conscious effort by Techland to artificially extend the game. Because as you know, this game was initially planned as a DLC, and later they decided to release it as a full game. But I don't think they put as much content into it for a full game. If we talk about the combat system, it's truly amazing, just like in the previous Dying Light games. You can feel the weight of every blow you land, especially with the newly added gore physics. You can see the effects of every blow you land on the infected much more clearly. It's so clear that I hope YouTube doesn't take down the video when I post it because of the footage from the game you are currently seeing right now. When Dying Light 2 first came out, there were no firearms in the game. Only melee combat was available. I personally wasn't bothered by this because I always enjoyed the melee combat much more in the both first and second games. Later, due to significant backlash from the community, Techland added the firearms to the game. That's not the case here. Firearms are present in this game. There isn't any particular surprising weapon you wouldn't see in other games. The interesting part is that some are tied to skill tree, but I will address that when discussing the skill tree. Using firearms is enjoyable, but it's not like there is some incredible revolutionary change. It's nice that the gore system has been also satisfying when using firearms too. The fact that infected enemies take damage based on where you shoot them, causing lips to fall off, etc., gives a nice sense of satisfaction. But in my opinion, the game still shines most in close combat. And unlike the first game, you can find weapons very early on. But to prevent us from being too powerful from the start, the development team has limited ammunition to maintain a power balance. Frankly, I think this is a nice balancing. You don't really feel very powerful in the terms of weapons until the final part of the game. Then, as the number of bullets and the level of weapons increase, the game really picks up speed. Unfortunately, the main thing that blocks the flow of the game and the sense of character's development is the skill tree. Then let's speak about the skill tree. Unfortunately, I didn't find the skill tree sufficient at all. Most of the skills are already skills that were added to our character in previous games, like flying kicks or jumping over zombies. But the game gives us a character with zero gameplay, as if it forgets Kyle's previous life. Apart from the abilities I mentioned as examples, the others are either passive abilities or abilities that help you create the powerful weapons I mentioned earlier, which I don't think should be even considered abilities in the game. The game could give us these blueprints after completing certain quests. When I leveled up early in the game, I was excited, but later I felt like it didn't matter what I spent my ability points on because none of the max level skills changed my gameplay. This situation is actually the main problem with Dying Light the Beast. In terms of gameplay, the game develops for the first 3 hours, but then you find yourself in the same repetitive gameplay loop for next 15 hours. Fortunately, the basic loop is so solid and well made that this situation only starts to bore you towards the end of the game. And as I mentioned, the talent tree is making this situation even worse. Speaking of the skill tree, we can't leave out the Beast features. Beast mode is actually an advanced version of the powerful mode Aiden enters at certain points in the second game due to story. But in this game we can use it whenever we want through the game. I call it advanced version, but I can't really say it's that advanced to be honest. To activate Beast mode you need to fill your power bar by dealing damage or taking damage, and once it's full you can activate it. It's similar to Spartan Rage. However, the annoying part is that you can't gain skill points for Beast mode by just leveling up. As I mentioned earlier, you can only obtain them by defeating special bosses called chimeras. And naturally, people expect these to be more special abilities. Unfortunately, that's not the case. At the beginning of the game, the beast mode activates as soon as bar fills up, and you can turn it on or off as you please. You need to spend a point in a beast skill tree, and after that, you can activate the beast mode whenever you want after filling the bar. And frankly, this is nonsense. The game initially presents you with a challenge on its own and then wants you to spend your skill point solving the problem it created, rather than actually developing your character. I wanted to talk about knights and then finish my review. The knights were terrifying again, to put it simply. Although I am not the standard here, I was scared even during the nights in the second game that no one else found scary, and I got really scared in this game. Even though I played co-op with my friend, we tried not to go out at night, and we were generally scared during the night missions. What people questioned was that we could kill even the most powerful volatiles in the beast mode. But we can't activate the beast mode that often, and killing even one volatile takes up almost all your beast bar at the start of the game. The development team really wanted to make the volatiles unkillable, and preserve the fear factor, and in my opinion, they succeeded. In conclusion, Dying Light the Beast builds upon the gameplay mechanics from the previous game, but unfortunately, the lack of sufficient character development causes the game to lose exciting towards the end. However, the changes made to story and its presentation definitely help players immerse themselves in the narrative. I definitely don't think Beast is a bad game, but I think I would have preferred it to remain as a DLC. While it's a good game, I don't think it's quite right to call it the third and main game in the series. So my score for Dying Light the Beast is